Good evening, everybody in giant vegetable growing land, and those of you who decide to follow me and watch my videos on what the heck I'm doing in my backyard. We are going to check out the pumpkins today. Today being August 8th. First, I want to say thank you to everybody in the Rocky Mountain Giant Vegetable Growers Club. We had our patch tour today. We saw we saw 3 pumpkin patches. We saw Gary's, then we saw another Gary's at Jared's, and then Gary's brother. I just know him as the Biz. I forget his real name. Anyway, they had some fantastic pumpkins. It was really cool to see what everybody else had going on and talk pumpkin and get some ideas and just see what other people do and compare and learn. It was a good time. Anytime you can kind of hang out with people who have similar, extremely nerdy interests, as you, it's always a good time. They understand. So we will begin this week's update with smashing. The smashing pumpkin continues to grow quite well. It still putting on in the neighborhood of 30 pounds a day. It may or may not be in the 600-pound range. Everybody tells me I need to, or everybody has been telling me I need to make it more interesting and not necessarily say the exact weights of everything. So it may or may not be in the 600s. It may or may not be, or may not be close to 7. Who knows? All I know is that it's one big old pumpkin. Trying to go show the scale. Throw a leg up on there. Something. Maybe throw my shoe. My size 13 shoe. So they're growing pretty good, getting nice and big, smashing. Still a yellow color. I don't really see it getting orange. You can see it starting to kind of maybe get a little orange-ish to it, but then again, that's could be where I lay on it or get scratched or whatever. Something new in the last week is that the pumpkins are starting to rib a little bit. So I think that just happens as they get older. You can start to see kind of the bumps, the ribs, the ridges forming in them. Looking really good, knock on wood. No splits. Vine looks good. Next year definitely have to do a little more of a dramatic bend in the vine to get those away from the fruit. So I looked at a lot of the people's vines this weekend, and they had some, or today actually, they had some really strong bends in those vines. So I need to get more aggressive with that next year so I don't have the problem of the vine getting on the fruit. Geez, another problem I didn't think I would have was finding more, or needing bigger bed sheets. Another issue that I had start of last week really is that my tape measure, my little tape measure that went up to 120 inches was no longer adequate at all. So I had to get out my surveying tape measure and starting to use that. So good problem to have, I guess. The plant is basically all full. Has filled in the greenhouse, the Colorado Pumpkin Cave. Most of those have been terminated. There's a few that I'm just haven't really worried about. But that is smashing. Let's go out here. Lock up the lock up this entrance. Something that I saw that I definitely want to do next year is a giant squash. Those things look really cool. It'd be cool to just have a giant, basically pumpkin that is a Angry Hulk green. So that's on the radar for next year. Maybe a watermelon. Go around to the other side. I guess we can look at the gourds while we're over here-ish. Last week the sunflower, I think, was maybe 5 foot tall or so. This week it is at least 6 foot. I'm over 6 foot tall, barely, and it's bigger than me, so it has eclipsed the 6 foot mark. That watermelon is completely eaten. The random gourds I have going are going well. The big old dippers. That might be a bottle. I don't know. But it's really starting to look good at the top. I actually have a dipper gourd up there that's starting to hang from the top, and I have some. Of the long gourds. I saw a few nice long gourd plants today as well, and that's exciting. So there's a few up there that are starting to go. Tomorrow I'm going to get my ladder out. I can see a bunch like that one right there. I might keep, but there's one right there, one right there, one right there that I need to pinch off, just so all of that energy goes into long gourds that are at the top. Motorcycle rolling by. Pumpkin the dog. Ketchup and fries grafted plant. About ready to harvest most of those tomatoes. And speaking of tomatoes, here is Miss Cheese, the large and in charge tomato. She's big and curvy. So hopefully that's about 4 pounds or so. And then I also have that one and another big one over there, but those two I haven't really worried about. Something that I don't think I have told everybody is that these tomato plants are actually grown in pots, so that's kind of fun. Here are the two other of the pumpkins. Red Baron, been doing really well. Bubba, also doing very well. These two, for the last maybe 10 days or so, have been growing the same amount each day. So for a lot of times, or for the last few weeks, they would grow like 15 pounds, 15 pounds, 20 pounds, 20 pounds, 10 pounds, 10. So they were growing the same. They were gaining the same every day, which is pretty interesting. The shapes is pretty dramatically different, but they were gaining it the same. This one, for up until really this week, has been almost a perfect round. And now you can start to see right here, he's not going around anymore, starting to kind of get the blob look on the bottom. But all in all, still for a giant pumpkin, still looks pretty fantastic, orange and round. This guy may or may not be 500-ish pounds. This one too, the ribs are starting to show. Just a little bit, but starting to come out. The Red Baron, the same on the Red Baron. So all the pumpkins in the last 7 days have started to get some ribs to them. So it's a pretty thick sounding pumpkin. So Red Baron, I'm actually really concerned. 2 to 4 inches a day, it gets closer to that post. So I am going to need to figure something out with that, because that will be taken up, I almost guarantee you, by the next video. That's going to be a problem. So I will figure that out. Red Baron off the 1700 Baron seed, crossed with the 1947 and a half. Got an interesting butt on this pumpkin. And all in all, looks pretty good. Look over there at Bubba. Pretty happy. Plants looking pretty good. I had knocked down some powdery mildew last week with Eagle 20. That seems to really have helped. I still see a few spots, but that was such a strong product. I really don't want to use that back to back. I'm going to wait one more week. In the meantime, I've been doing my foliar spray with actininovate in it, and one other one that escapes me at the moment. But keeping those in rotation, keep the powdery mildew at bay. Fairly positive that Eagle 20 knocked the lion's share of it out. I really don't see a lot of it anymore, and where I do, just extremely minimal, when I think it's actually just kind of leftovers from my first go around. So yeah, all the plants are doing great. Everybody may or may not be over 500 pounds. Looking really good. Got to cover them back up, do my foliar spray, and that'll be that. Got to figure out how I'm going to move that post, because I need this. I need that support right there. So I don't know, I might have to dig a hole over there, put another 2x4 and tie it into this one, and remove this post. So yeah, that is about it. This plant has filled in the rest of this area. Bubba's been completely terminated for a few weeks. And that's about all. That's about all I could think of that you may want to know. I think today, as of today, there's 50 days left until the first weigh off. There's 4 weigh offs in our area, so ranging from 50 days now to 21 days past that, I want to say, with the very last one. So we'll see. I kind of want to do one in 50 days, 57, and then 64. So we'll see how it goes. Having a lot of fun, learning a whole lot. Looking forward to next year. Any questions, comments, queries, concerns, you know how to get a hold of me. Have a great weekend, everybody. I'll talk to you soon.